Some people explain themselves long after they have already been clear. They add context, then more context, then reassurance, then another sentence to soften the sentence before it, then one more detail so they do not sound cold, then one more explanation so they do not sound selfish, then one more clarification so they do not get misunderstood. And still, it rarely feels like enough. That is the pattern of over-explaining. From the outside, it can look like thoughtfulness, and sometimes it is. But often, underneath it, there is something more fragile: fear. Fear of being misread, fear of sounding harsh, fear of disappointing someone, fear that simple honesty will not be accepted unless it is softened, justified, carefully arranged, and made emotionally convenient for the other person. So the person keeps talking, not always because they have more to say, but because they do not yet feel safe enough to stop. That is what makes over-explaining exhausting. It is not only communication, it is self-protection through language. The person is trying to reduce the risk of conflict, rejection, blame, or withdrawal by becoming extra clear. But clarity is not always the real goal. Control is. If I explain this perfectly, maybe they will understand. If they understand, maybe they will not be upset. If they are not upset, maybe I will still feel safe. That logic makes sense when being misunderstood is used to carry consequences. Maybe honesty was once punished. Maybe simple boundaries were once treated like a tax. Maybe your emotional reality had to be defended in detail just to be taken seriously. If that happened enough times, of course, clarity would stop feeling sufficient. You would learn to build protective layers around the truth before speaking it. But there is a limit to what explanation can do. You cannot explain your way into being fairly received by someone committed to misunderstanding you. You cannot add enough words to guarantee emotional safety. You cannot control another person's interpretation simply by becoming more precise. That is why over-explaining often leaves people drained. They are doing too much work for an outcome they do not actually control. And somewhere inside that pattern, there is usually an old hope. Maybe if I say it perfectly, I will finally be met well. That hope is understandable, but sometimes the healthier move is not to explain better. It is important to notice when you have already been clear and let that clarity stand without building a shelter around it. Because honesty does not always need a paragraph. Sometimes it only needs enough self-trust to stop after the sentence is true.